There's still one more piece for the Arizona Wildcats roster that needs to be addressed. Will that be addressed? And another moving piece.
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for keeping it Locked On Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. Locked On, your team every day. This episode is brought to you today by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. All right, we have got a lot to get to this show. We are going to talk almost all about Arizona basketball, obviously, and the first thing that I want to talk about is where is this roster now with Carter Bryant? Now, this roster is pretty much set in the end. We talked about it before. This roster is pretty much set in the front court. You've already got basically everything you need in Mo Crevis. And again, I get some people are kind of out on Mo Crevis. I get all that. It is what it is. But Mo Crevis, Tommy Lloyd is a huge fan of Mo Crevis, and I am going to ride with Tommy Lloyd on this one because there is absolutely no reason not to ride with Tommy Lloyd on this one. He said that this is the player that he was going to build his offense around. Tommy Lloyd's, like we talked about a million times, Tommy Lloyd's got a really, really good background when it comes to offensive players or when it comes to big men. And if he said that he's good enough for him, then he should be good enough for all of us. Now, the other thing too that we need to talk about is what is that next step then with Koa Pete. Koa Pete, he's going to play 30 minutes per game. Just telling you right now, he's going to play 30 minutes per game. So, and he should play 30 minutes per game. That's why you bring in a 5-star player of that ilk. He is like I said, he's a really good player, and he's going to give you a upside that Arizona did not have last year. And that is something that you can't really put a price tag on. So there's obviously that. Then the next step too that I think we need to talk about is the big men up front. You've got him now. You've got two guys that are one that's probably going to be able to play right away in CD Gay, and then the other one in Mabeel, who is probably going to be a little bit more of a developmental type player. But guess what? I'm fine with the developmental type player because you're going to have something where, how do I put this? If you're looking at it, you're like, okay, you've got players right now that are ready to play, and then you got players too that are a little bit down the road. Because again, after 2026, there's going to be some dudes that are moving on. I mean, there's going to be probably 7 or 8 guys that are moving on. So that's something that you obviously need to keep that in mind. So you got players right now for the present, and you got players right now for the future. Now, I think a big key of that obviously is being able to hold on to them, because if you have these players but you can't hold on to them, then it doesn't really do a ton. But that is kind of the rule of thumb. That is kind of the rule of thumb in all of this. So we shall, like I said, we shall see how this does play out. So there's obviously that. Now, the next thing too that you want to talk about is that small forward spot. Now, this thing with Carter, and again, I get that people are they have very strong opinions about what Carter can do. I'm just going to lay on here what what the real options are for Carter, and what can actually be something that is a little bit there's something that's a little bit different. So the first thing though that I think we need to talk about is Carter will be a first round pick. I don't think that there's any doubt about it. Carter will be a first round pick. That now at what level? Who knows? But at the same time, he's going to be a player that will how do I put this? At some point, he's going to be a player that, if he goes in the top 10, if you get people that are saying that he's going to be a top 10 player, then I think it's really hard to be able to sit here and refute that. I think that you probably need to go. And I realize that I'm about to speak out of both sides of my mouth here, but heck, I mean, it is what it is. My main problem with Carter, like I said, my main concern with Carter is this. And he comes from a great family. But Carter is also incredibly young. Now, this isn't the situation like, in years past where you're like, in years past where you're like, all right, well, you got to just go and get the money. That's why this is intriguing for me, because if Carter comes back, he can make $1.5 million. I think, and if he does that, then it's kind of like, you get it. You get the best of both worlds. Granted, you don't get that NBA salary yet, but you're making $1 million, and it kind of is what it is. It's not the worst situation in the world. But then the next one is what happens if you come back, you get hurt, you still got that $1 million. If you go off to the NBA, again, you got the money, but the things that I do worry a little bit about with you are the developmental factors in that. A team, like I said, a team just doesn't have the actual wherewithal then to be able to beat you, or to be able to if they don't develop you, who cares? If you're a lottery pick, they got to develop you. And again, they're going to try to develop everybody. I get all that, but it's going to take Carter some time. And I think you look at Dalen Terry as kind of a cautionary tale of, maybe not going at the right time, but we shall see. But the difference, though, like we talked about before, though, the difference is a championship then when it comes, or I think being a top 3 to 5 team in the country. And honestly, I don't know that they're not the best team in the country. If you get Carter Bryant back, but sure, there's going to be some concerns about, I know people say, well, what about the third ball handler, or, a bunch of different things. I get all that, but at the end of the day, it just kind of is what it is. But Bryant coming back would be immense. I mean, there's really no way around that. Him coming back would be, because you would have so much then, like some of the concerns that people have about Arizona. What about the shooting? Okay, cool. Carter Bryant, he fixes a lot of that because he shoots 40% from 40% from 3-point range, and he's going to be even better. Blocking shots on the weak side. He does that. Getting rebounds, he does that. Like I said, he just does a lot of different things, and he can improve his game too. The thing with Carter right now that's difficult is that Carter really can't dribble the ball. And that kind of brings it back a little bit. And Carter right now is not a dumb player by any means. Actually, I think Carter's a very smart player. But Carter, again, I'm going to say, is very young. Every game, there was 2 or 3 plays where you're just kind of like, what are you doing, man? Like, it's like at the end of the first half against the Duke game where Caleb Love shoots that shot, not a good shot, obviously, and then Carter just kind of stands there and doesn't take it. Like I said, those are kind of the moments that if you come back, you probably correct those and you get a little bit stronger. But either way, like I said, I don't blame the kid at all for how he's playing this one out, because the coaching staff is the one that is basically telling him to go ahead and play it out like this. So, if the coaching staff's telling you to do something like that, then, well, guess what? You're probably going to go ahead and do something like that. So there's that. But now, if Arizona is going to have some options here, and Arizona is going to have a few options where you're like, okay, this could be really, really interesting. So what could one of those options be? But for Supply House, my friends, Supply House, check it out. All right, here's the deal with Supply House. Listen, get the supplies you need at the site for the skilled trades. That's what it is at Supply House. Supply House, whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with the complete inventory, they have over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands. You'll find exactly what you need. Now, again, you need a little bit of help with your order. Supply House offers expert help and industry-leading advice. They're not going to leave you on your own on this one. You're going to have somebody to help you. And join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and other electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. And again, the cool thing about it too is that they're always going to be there to help you. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. Okay, now. Let's talk then a little bit about some of the replacement options. Hey, Desmond Claude just came back on the just came up on the transfer portal list. He is he would look like he was going to Florida, but he has decided not to. Who knows? Like I said, I doubt he ends up here, but it would still be funny at the end of the day if he did end up at the University of Arizona. Like I said, it'd be pretty unlikely, but he would fill that need, that third ball handler, the scorer, can do a lot of different things. I like Claude, so we shall, like I said, we shall see. But overseas, there's going to be a couple international dudes. Now, I think I got a good idea on one of them, but he's good. Now, listen, at this stage in the game, you're also not getting guys that are going to be Lowry Markkanen, so that kind of is what it is. But overall, you're going to get somebody that they're going to get somebody that can come in and play. And I think whether it's one of those two internationals or Tyon Grant Foster, listen, I know some people don't like Tyon Grant Foster, and I get it. He's not a good shooter. There's been some questions about his maturity level. Get all of that. Totally get it. And not dismissing that one either. But at the end of the day, he also is very fluid with the ball. He can, he can get to the rack against, I think it was against Alabama. He looked like one of the best players on the court 2 years ago. He's a talented guy, and anybody that says he's not is just being silly. So maybe the factor is with Tommy Lloyd, if Carter doesn't come back, maybe that's an interesting option. Now, again, there will be people that are going to say, well, I hate the spacing. I get all that actually on this one, but I would still bring him in. My main concern, with Tommy would just be like, how does he fit into the system? But if Tommy's in on him, I'm in on him. That's kind of where I am with Tyon Grant Foster. Now, the next thing too that you need to look at those. Whoever they're going to get is going to be an instant impact type player. Now, again, are they going to be Carter? Probably not. But they're also going to be somebody that's going to be very, very good. Because, again, you got a lot of money to play with, which is a good thing. And you've got a wide open spot on a top 10 team in the country, and that's something that I think we need to look at, and we need to pretty much hold. Hold the fort on. How about that? So there's that. Now, the other thing too that's going to be interesting with this Arizona squad is, what exactly does happen then on the perimeter? Because right now they're set on the perimeter. Outside of Carter Bryant. I know some people don't want to hear that. I know they want a third ball handler. I'm going to tell you right now, Evan Nelson is being brought in to be that third point guard, to be that third guy to probably play 5, 6, 7 minutes per game, something like that. That's going to be what Evan's role is going to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. And again, he's going to be playing 5 to 7 minutes. Now with Braden Bradley, with Chappelle. Or not Chappelle, excuse me, with Braden Burries, Jaden Bradley, they are going to be guys that are going to be able to play 30 minutes per game, and I think that's a big thing about it. Now, Evan Nelson probably going to play 5-7 minutes per game, 5 to 7 minutes per game, and where is like I said, and then you just kind of go from there. Like I said, um, uh, we shall see how it plays out. But overall, feel pretty good about it. But like I said, this is going to be a pretty loaded roster either way, and I think it's still going to be a team that can compete for a title. Also, the other thing too is, that you're like, where are we? Where are we with all of this? When it comes to the new assistant coach, I would imagine that will be announced. I would imagine that would be announced here pretty shortly. Probably by the next show tomorrow. Hopefully by the next show tomorrow. He's like I said, he's going to be a good player. He's going to be a really good one for the U of A, and I think that we're kind of at the stage where you know, this roster is pretty close to being set. It's just waiting on Carter. Now, the new coach, when he's announced, it's going to be a big deal for the U of A because you're going to be having somebody that is going to be you're going to have somebody that's going to be able to kind of come in there and, break up recruiting zones, and that's going to be a lot easier for guys like Murph. That's going to make things a lot easier for that's going to make things a lot easier too for Murph, for TJ, and it's going to make Tommy Lloyd's job a lot easier as well. So, like I said, there's definitely that component in play. So it's going to be exciting to see how that one does play out. All right, now the roster, like I said, pretty much set at that point. We talked about Dwayne Aristod, ADO, et cetera. Now, we need to talk a little bit of Arizona football, my friends, because there was some good Arizona football news that we need to talk about. And again, the cool thing about Arizona is we are a football school, as everybody knows. And this was a massive, massive get for the University of Arizona. But first, Monarch Money, my friends. Monarch Money. Check it out, Monarch Money. Okay, here's the deal with Monarch Money. Yeah, again, ever check your bank account and you look and you wonder, where'd all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO. And again, Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. That's what also really is cool about this. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you just stop managing your money and start building wealth. That's what we're looking for. And again, what they have is they have a lot of great next level insights. They also have an all-in-one convenience, easy collaboration. And again, take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege from monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off of your first year. Again, this is your complete financial command center. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, Arizona gets a massive, massive return from in Kean Burnett. Listen, Kean Burnett is. Listen, I know that he's been injury prone. I get all of that. But man, when Kean Burnett plays, Kean Burnett is good. He's the only one on the roster that can really do what he can do. This is with all due respect to Sam Olson. I know that Brent Brennan loves Sam Olson, but Kean Burnett is a much better football player than Sam Olson. With Kean Burnett out on the field, it makes life a lot easier. And it makes just things a lot easier because he's a vertical threat. He's big. He's fast. He can, like I said, he can catch the ball. Just do a lot of different things out there on the football field that Sam Olson just couldn't do, And the big thing with him is he has got to stay healthy. And if he stays healthy, then he's, then I think that there's a real chance that this Arizona team can be pretty darn good offensively. They got a lot of weapons, and getting Kean back is that. Now, I don't think there should be any ill will towards Kean at all. Quite frankly, because he's a player that Last year was a disaster for so many players, and unless you were somebody like T-Mac, you probably weren't eaten. Because again, you had some OCs that didn't know what they're doing. Not only did you have a couple OCs that didn't know what they were doing, you also had a guy who, how do I put this? He is like I said, they didn't know. Kean Burnett is an NFL type talent. You watch him; he's big, he's strong, he's physical, he can catch the ball, and he's a great kid. Arizona's just got to be able to take advantage of that. If they can take advantage of that, that's going to be a big one because you look at that. You look at it, and we've been talking about it before. Could Arizona's offense actually be sneaky okay next year? I think you start to wonder if that's really the case because now you got a player in Kean Burnett at that tight end position, which was a massive question mark. And we talked about it before. You've got Chris Hudson, you got Javin Watley, you've got a variety of different guys who can all play. And then besides, like I said, Hudson, Watley, Luke Wysong, obviously already very good. You've also got somebody in there like a Chris Hunter. You got some really good wide receivers, and now you add Kean Burnett there on top of some good running backs. Like I said, it's going to come down to can this offensive line just be okay? And I think that's the biggest question mark on this entire team. Can they keep Noah upright? If they can keep Noah upright, then I think Arizona sounds like a great name, Noah Upright. If they can keep Noah upright, then Arizona is going to have some interesting stuff to be able to go with there. But we shall see. But overall, though, I'm excited about it because I think you also have you have an OC in Seth Daggy that knows what he's doing, that has a plan. Now, is Arizona going to be the best team in the country this year? No, but they also have you at least have somebody in there now that has a plan on what he's doing, and I think that's the exciting part for a lot of folks is that there does seem to be somebody out there that can do a little bit of that. So that's going to be an exciting prospect, I think, for a lot of University of Arizona Wildcat fans. And like I said, I'm going to keep saying this. If Arizona's going to lose, I need to be entertained. It's that simple. It's that easy. I need to be entertained. Nobody wants to watch bad football and boring in the process. So let's make this entertaining. And I think there's a chance for Daggy to do that. And I think, like I said, we've talked about it as long as the running game is good. I think Arizona should be in decent shape. It's all going to come down to the O-line, though. I know I'm going to be beating this point home all summer, but that's going to be the point, is that the O-line has to be good. Or not even good, just decent. It can't be something where – it can't be something it can't be something where you're like, all right, well, this is like the worst offensive line in the country because Noah's a shorter guy to begin with, and it's not like he's super, super mobile, so you don't want him getting killed out there. But I think there is the opportunity, though, for this offense to be pretty good. Defensively, who knows? Danny Gonzalez is really going to have to scheme this one up because he is like I said, he's a player that, or he's a coach that, he's going to have to do more with less because there's not a ton of talent on that roster, and I'm not really breaking any news to you. Okay, so I wanted to touch a little bit on Arizona football. Because we are a football school, obviously. But tomorrow, we're probably going to be talking a lot about Arizona basketball's new coach, in that or their new assistant coach. He is going to be really, really good for the U of A. As we've talked about before, Jack Murphy, TJ Benson are tireless recruiters. But the one guy that they could definitely use a little bit of help. I mean, Murph is kind of the California international guy, but he's also heavy in the game plan, whereas TJ is in-state scouting, getting all that. Having a third guy that's going to be out recruiting can also help along with the X's and O's is going to be invaluable for the U of A. He is, like I said, you've had two assistants that have worked their butt off. Now you need to get that third one in there, and I think this is going to be Tommy Lloyd's best. I think it's going to be Tommy Lloyd's best staff. I really do, because everybody is going to have a specific role, and everybody is going to be pulling their weight, and that's something that I think you need. So hopefully we will be talking about this one. We'll be talking about this one tomorrow as well. And like I said, we're going to be talking a lot of Carter Bryant. We're going to be talking a lot of different things throughout this season. But as always, very, very much appreciate you all making Locked On Wildcats your first listen of the day. Locked On, your team every day. Have a great Monday. Have a safe and fun Cinco de Mayo. Going to need you back here. We're going to be talking about a little bit of Arizona Wildcats basketball assistant coaching, hopefully tomorrow.